Britons are fleeing London en masse as some parts of the UK experience a seismic shift in demographics. Sarah Firth reports on why so-called white flight is seeing an exodus from cities and suburbs with dominant ethnic populations.
London, a multicultural hub known for its thriving diversity spanning the centuries. But research by social think tank Demos reveals that while London remains as vibrant as ever, it's perhaps not as integrated as some people might think.
London has experienced a huge amount of what's called white flight. Lower income white people, mainly in the outer suburbs, leaving London because they think it's changed too fast for them.
One of those people is Jane Kelly. Having lived in London most of her adult life, she's seen firsthand the cultural shift and is now looking to move house as she feels the area she lives in has lost all sense of community.
All the people I knew when I moved in here have gone. They've all moved away. And there are now mostly flats with very transitory population.
But perhaps surprisingly, it seems many of the older generation of migrants who live round here and have settled and built up businesses agree that integration is not working as well as it maybe should. The ethnic cultural diversity in London is part of what makes London great. So why do you think we're seeing a lot of talk about these sort of problems arising?
Well, to be honest with you, it's foreign people, is more or less these European people. They're just interested to do a short journey, make the money and then run off the country, and that's it. There's no investment return to the country. There's nothing to rebuild the country. It's only for themselves to make money, and that's, you know, that's what they're interested for. I mean, I've been to this country when I was like 22 years old. Now I'm 43 years old. So I'm investing in business, I'm doing so many things in this country, paying tax back into the country, and, you know, doing that. That's the way it has to be.
In London, white Brits now make up just 45% of the capital's total population. We're here at one of London's busiest train stations and in the working week, a commuter hub. Now, over the course of a decade, London saw its white British population fall by more than 600,000 people, whilst in the commuter towns on the outskirts and the populations become more ethnically mixed. So we know that white Brits are leaving London behind. The question is why, and what effect, if any, it's having on the local communities they've left behind.
Well, there's a certain amount of diversity which is very nice in any city, but when the diversity becomes so extreme that you have almost like balkanised groups, that there are no actual traditional communities, or the traditional communities are outnumbered completely by newcomers, and the newcomers keep on and on rolling in, it has a very alienating effect.
What's been seen across the UK for a long time has been most acute in London. But the figures aren't the full story. Avoiding ethnic communities does play a role in so-called white flight, but evidence shows that race may not be the main driver.
I think the main thing about that white flight reminds us of is that there is a problem. The mistake it makes is it says that problem is just about ethnicity. It's not. It's about age, and it's about mixing between people of different incomes, and we need to address all these things together.
There are now concerns Britain could see yet another immigration surge at the end of this year, when some 21 million Romanians and 7 million Bulgarians will be free to travel and work across the EU. Only a fraction of those are forecast to actually come here. But previous immigration underestimates, coupled with white British relocation, are changing the face of London's ethnic makeup, without much understanding of what the full ramifications of that might be. Sarah Firth, RT, London.